Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. WildMax1 bringing another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we're going to be doing a full auto Ultra Nightmare Chimera showcase. Now anytime you can get a full auto team for Chimera, it is absolute gold. You can rack up huge clash points without needing to micromanage every single turn. Today's specific team comes as a viewer request to combine Senna and Ninja, and we were able to do that and get just over 342 million damage on full auto. So today I'll be breaking down how the team works, showing you some key moments from the run, showing you my AI presets, the builds of all the champs. So with that, let's dive right in. Now when it comes to building Chimera teams, there are three primary aspects that you should be focused on. One is how good is it at clearing trials. So if you're primarily going for those mythical materials from the trials, that should be your number one consideration. Two, how many clash points are you going to earn? Are you guys trying to push with your clan to earn that top spot or not? Damage will play a factor in overall clash points as well as trial completion. And third, and this is really the X factor, is ease of use. If you don't want to have to keep resetting Chimera every time to try to get a reasonable score, then the best thing for you to do is just to be building a full auto team that you know can deliver consistent results that you can use week to week or specific weeks if you know, for example, that the trials that you're going to be aiming for that you can complete with your team are going to be the ones that feature the mythical materials. So with that, let's go over the actual team building considerations that I had for this team, including the synergies and the reason that I chose the champs that are on it. So as you can tell from the trials and the damage completed and the fact that it's full auto, this team was all about ease of use and lots of damage and some trials completed, but it's all about ease of use and damage. So the two given champions based on the viewer request are Senna and Ninja. So the rest of the champs are just there to complement those two and to make them shine. Senna has a passive that makes her basically a supercharger or energizer bunny, where every time a continuous heal goes off on the team, everybody gets a TM boost. So to complement that, I decided to pair her up with two buff extenders to make sure that her continuous heals keep running on the team for as long as possible. So there's pretty much constantly turn meter boosting going on. And Androc also delivers a few continuous heals of his own. Now, in addition to the turn meter boosting from Senna's passive, we also have Androc's passive at play here, which is that every time an ally crits, the whole team gets a turn meter boost. So between these two champions, great synergy and all the turn meter boosting that you could possibly want on the team. Next thing I wanted to make sure that this team had is good buff control. And what I mean by that is the ability to keep buffs on our team, make sure that the Chimera doesn't strip off or steal any of the buffs. So to manage that, we have Firrol and Androc on the team. Androc's passive gives our team extra resistance based on the buffs that are currently on them, which synergizes nicely with the buff extension as well. Firrol also has a passive that for a certain amount of buffs on the team, he increases everybody's resistance. Firrol also brings increased resistance. Androc brings increased resistance, and we have all of these champions right here, Senna, Firrol, Lady Mikage, and Androc in 9-piece protection. So any buffs that are up have a 75% chance every time they're cast of being protected. And speaking of that 9-piece protection bonus, they also are going to be increasing Ninja's damage. That, along with Firrol's passive that gives you 20%, gives a nice boost to Ninja. And we, of course, have him paired up with the best Shadowkin damage enabler in Lady Mikage. Her A1 becomes Ninja's A1, and she is a large part of the reason with her ally attack on her A1 and A3 for why Ninja was able to do 303 million of the 342 million damage. Now, when it comes to AI presets for the team, the only thing that I did was turn off Lady Mikage and Androc's transformability for all of the different Chimera forms. Everyone else is just using their standard presets along with standard prioritization on their abilities. And one more thing that I wanted to offer before we actually start jumping towards the run, and that is possible replacement champions. Now, obviously, Senna and Ninja were the actual request for this video, but you can still replace them in this composition. Ninja would actually be replaced by Toshiro if you have him. That would be a strict upgrade, but you can obviously use any other good Shadowkin damage dealer, potentially even a Harima if you wanted to. Senna can be replaced by Opardin Clanfather, who has a similar passive to her for that turn meter boosting effect. Firrol could possibly be replaced by somebody like a Grakos Turn Drake, who just came out more recently. Lady Mikage could be replaced by Lenakis the Chosen, who also brings ally attack, increase attack, and also as a buff extender. And as for Androc, he does have that nice turn meter boosting passive, but again, that could be replaced by somebody like an Pardon. He also is a buff extender, so if you want that on the composition, you can find another buff extender. And the one other thing he brings is that passive resistance increase for your team. So if you are excluding him from the team and you still want to make sure your team has good resistance, you may want to tweak the stats a little bit to make sure that your resistance is a little bit higher. All right, so now let's get into the actual run. As you can see, I ran this team twice this week, once with 338 million and once with 342 million. I recorded the run with 338 million. So with that, let's jump right into the run. We're going to be watching this on 1.5 times speed, and I'm just going to talk through some of the key points here. So you'll see right off the bat there how much turn meter boosting is going on. Most of that is Senna. Some of that is going to be as a result of Androc's passive, but it is constant throughout the run. There's pretty much always at least one continuous heal up, and usually there's multiple on every champion, so there's just so much turn meter boosting going on. I mean, we are talking about lapping the Chimera multiple times on one of its turns. So a couple things to note here. Ninja's decreased defense is the only damage increasing debuff that we're bringing here. We don't have weaken, and it's not a 100% chance to land, but because of how many turns Ninja's taking and because of Lady Mikage in the run with Ninja, it's going to be pretty much up the entire time. Not only is Lady Mikage making him attack and giving him another chance to proc it, but also extending the duration of the debuffs on the Chimera. Now, the other thing that's nice about taking so many turns is that Ninja's able to stack up his escalation and his Arethi Coronet very quickly. There you saw about 570,000 damage on his A1. Now it's at 730. Now, of course, some of that is going to be dependent on keeping the increased attack and the increased crit damage up from Lady Mikage. So that is another big consideration here. So because of how many buffs that are going out onto the team and the fact that we do have 2 buff extenders, there is a chance, and this is where the RNG component comes in for this team, that Ninja's bar is too full sometimes when Lady Mikage uses her team attack, and so then he doesn't end up getting his increased attack or his increased crit damage. That results in a huge difference in damage for his A1. So at the highest, I think his A1 was hitting for about there you saw 850,000 around, but at the highest, once everything's fully stacked up, it's about 1.2 million, and that's with the buffs. And without the buffs, we're talking 600,000, sometime maybe 700,000 if you get lucky, but it is a vast difference. So here you see we're about to transition into the first Ram form, about 27 million damage going into it. And for the Ram form, a few considerations for this team. So since you are bringing an increased crit damage champion, and there are going to be some perfect veils going out, you really want to make sure that at least 2 champs on this team, in this case I made sure that it was Lady Mikage and Firrol, have more than a difference of 30 for their crit damage between Senna and them. So you want to make sure that even if they have that crit damage buff, they're not going to go over Senna's crit damage, because otherwise our only reviver on the team is going to get locked up in a duel, and then it's pretty much over. So as long as you make sure that you have that done on the team, then you should be at no risk of failing this run. The one funny thing, reason I'm laughing is because every time that Senna revives Ninja, he, as part of her A3, will go in as an ally attacker against the Ram form, and the Ram form should be the only place where Ninja is going to be going down on this fight, and it's basically an insta one-shot as soon as he gets revived. There he goes, he gets revived, and he immediately goes back down. So Ram form is going to look a little ridiculous and silly with his team, but it's the only place where you will have any champions that should be going down. The rest of them is all cake. It's pretty much resisting everything. We'll see in a moment on the Lion form. The Hunter's Gaze can present some problems for some teams. I know on other compositions that I've run, a lot of damage goes out through that Hunter's Gaze since it ignores virtually everything. But the thing about this team with that turn meter boosting is you are taking so many turns that you basically outrun the Hunter's Gaze, and then you don't even have to worry about cleansing it or receiving that AoE from the Lion when you do cleanse it. So here you see Ninja is still knocked out on the floor after transitioning back to the Lion form, but as soon as we get that revive coming in from our Senna, Ninja has all his health back already, and he's right back to doing great damage here once he has that decreased defense debuff up on the Chimera. We should see here a hit for, there you go, 1 million with his A3. So right back into it. No need to stack anything up again. He's already fully stacked for the rest of the round. 1 million with his A1s there. So he is good to go in terms of damage as soon as he gets revived. So here we skipped a little bit further ahead. I wanted to showcase that scenario I was talking about where Ninja has a full buff bar, and there you saw he only did 552,000 with that A1. So there are going to be another 530,000 there. There are going to be moments during this run where that is going to happen, but as you could tell from the two keys and how similar the total damage were, 338 versus 342 million, it still is not going to make that big of a difference. And for the most part, he should still be able to get increased attack and increased crit damage on himself for most of his hits. So here we've transitioned into the Lion form, and you see the Hunter's Gaze there going out on Androc, who's my highest defense champion. Now you'll see Androc takes one turn right there, and then he should be taking another in a moment. Then one more. Look how fast that bar fills up. Absolutely incredible with the amount of turn meter. And it's gone. Hunter's Gaze is no longer in play. There was no cleanse for it. And sometimes Lady Mikage can even help by reducing the duration of the debuff, but no reason to worry about it in this case. If you have enough turn meter, you're basically just going to outrun any debuffs that the Chimera can put on your champions in the first place. Here, once again, Androc had it on him and immediately outran it in the time it took me to finish that sentence. So as you can see, towards the end of the Lion form, we already have all 4 trials complete that we're going to have completed over the course of this run. They are the ally attack ones that the Lion has, where mythical materials are there on certain rotations, so you are going to be able to still earn mythical materials with this full auto composition. As you can see, towards the end of this first Lion form, we already have 1 billion clash points, and now we have a better multiplier, so we're going to have even more at the end of the run. So here we've once again skipped ahead. I just wanted to go to the first Viper transition of this encounter, just to showcase how easy it is when you have enough resistance. Nothing stolen. A lot of protected buffs out there anyway. We got the block buffs up. Now we have the decreased speed on him. Ninja's already doing close to 1 million without even a decrease defense debuff on the Viper. So here we go. We're going to start stacking that up pretty soon. But Viper, easy. Lion, easy. The only thing that looks a little ridiculous, as I already mentioned, is the Ram form. Everything else, including the ultimate form, is pretty much cake with this team. So once again here, we've skipped further into the fight, and there you saw something that I had never seen before on the Chimera, and that is the total turn limit appearing once we hit 1,000 turns. Now, I've seen other teams do it, so I guess it shouldn't have surprised me, but as I was watching this, it definitely caught me off guard because prior to having Senna on my account, I had never seen this in Chimera. So having a lot of turn meter, taking all those turns, we're not going to quite be close to hitting the 1,500 turn limit on this particular run. I think we get around 1,150 or something like that, so still some room to grow, but it was just a nice and pretty cool milestone that I was able to see for the first time. And here we go on the last turn of the Chimera, right around 1133 for the total turn count for us. 4.5 billion clash points earned at turn 64. Took 46 minutes to get there. Cannot wait for there to be quick battles available for Chimera. And that's another reason why we're building teams like this, is because we want to make sure that we have those teams available. Again, saving time anywhere in your life is a great thing. Raid Shadow Legends for something like Chimera, unless you really enjoy micromanaging all the turns, I am one that prefers full auto teams. So here we have it, the 338 million damage run, right around 4.6 billion clash points. And yeah, very reliable team. The other run, as already mentioned, 342 million. So with that, let's take a look at the champion builds. So now let's take a look at the builds of the champions featured in today's video, starting with one of the 2 stars, Senna Amberheart. So I have her in 9-piece protection. Here are her total stats. Using a Journal of Necrotos relic for more turn meter boosting, the Nourish Blessing, and here are her masteries. And I do have a Senna guide out on my channel if you'd like to check that out. Next up on the team is our other little mini Energizer Bunny here with the turn meter boosting passive. That is Androc the Glorious, also in 9-piece protection. Total stats, here they are. Also with a Journal of Necrotos for even more turn meter boosting. He is our Intimidating Presence user on the team, and his masteries are here. If you'd like to see an Androc the Glorious guide on my channel, please let me know down in the comments below. Our main ninja enabler on the team, Lady Mikage, is built in 9-piece protection. Here are her total stats. She is wearing a Molten Deathbell relic just for a little bit more accuracy. She is our Cruelty Blessing user on the team. And here are her masteries. And I do have a Lady Mikage guide out on my channel. Check that out if you need to. Next up, we have the big tree himself, Firrol the Barkhorn, our nice passive damage booster, sitting in 9-piece protection with these stats. He is wearing a Gilded Dragonstone relic. Blessing is Brimstone. And here are his masteries. And I do have a Firrol guide out on my channel. I encourage you to check that out. And last, certainly not least, the other star of the video, our main damage dealer, our only damage dealer, and that is Ninja. Now, Ninja's built in 6-piece Merciless. Here are Ninja's total stats. Wearing an Arethi Coronet for Relic. 6-star Crushing Rend Blessing. And here are Ninja's masteries. I do have a Ninja guide on my channel, and I encourage you to check that out if you want to know more about how to build them. And there you have it, everybody. The full auto Ultra Nightmare Chimera showcase featuring Senna and Ninja. If you like today's video, please consider liking and subscribing for more content like this on my channel in the future. Let me know down in the comments below if there's any other showcases or champion guides or any other content that you'd like to see. Thank you for watching today's video. Thank you for your time. Have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.